Hello everybody, thank you much for joining me today for another Twilight Zone video in my Twilight Zone ranking series, where I rank every episode of the original Twilight Zone from my least favorite to my favorite. Today I'm going to be talking about number 115 on the list, Long Distance Call, written by Charles Beaumont and William Idelson and directed by James Sheldon. This is a season 2 videotaped episode, and as always there will be spoilers. So, Long Distance Call. This was another one that was tough for me to rate, and I'll explain why as I go. I do think this is a very dark episode, maybe one of the darkest episodes in all of Twilight Zone. So this one's about a young boy who's close with his grandmother. His name is Billy, and when she passes away, he continues to communicate with her through a toy phone he got from her for his birthday. So Billy Mooney is the lead in this episode, and he was also in 2 other episodes, and he's fine, as the young boy of the same name, Billy, and all the acting is fine in this episode. It does succeed in having a really dark tone. The mood is really weird, and I do have to say that the concept was pretty daring for 1960s TV about a kid listening to his grandmother from beyond and some of the places that it leads. I think the reason that this episode feels so authentic is because the beginning scenes with the grandmother still there feel very realistic, and you can really sense the connection between her and the grandson and her son as well, who's also in the episode. There's also a backstory to the grandmother about losing other children before this, which is good because it partially explains why she's so attached to her son and grandson, even if the son's wife doesn't really totally understand this. So eventually what happens is Billy keeps listening to his grandmother on this phone, but nobody else is really sure what's going on at first, until the mother picks up the phone and hears the grandmother, and another really creepy scene. So eventually Billy runs in front of a car, then later he's found in a pool, and all this is very, very disturbing. Then the ambulance comes by and says Billy might not make it. And, then the father basically at the end of the episode pleads with his mother to let Billy go, and she does, so Billy lives. Now, you might be thinking at this point, well, if all this is well done, why is this episode not ranked a little better on the list? Well, there's a couple reasons. First of all, this is a videotaped episode, and that doesn't help. To be fair, the videotaping isn't as bad here as it is in some episodes because the episode's already pretty bleak, and that just kind of adds to it. But still, I would have rather had it not be videotaped. My bigger issue is this episode just isn't entertaining to watch. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I mean, I don't really want to watch a kid try and harm themselves and maybe worse. It's just not, in my opinion, entertaining. The episode is so bleak until the ending as well. It's also a bit melodramatic, which doesn't totally work for me. But again, I think they were partially going for this. Still, the episode is effective in what it's trying to do, and I do think it was pretty bold for its time. So I can't really say it's a bad episode, but I don't really love it either. So it's just in the average range for me, and that's why Long Distance Call comes in at number 115. As always, feel free to leave me a comment on this episode, and as always, thanks for your continued support, and thanks for watching.